Good afternoon. I hereby call this February the 13th meeting of the Public Safety Committee to order.
Item C2, resolution awarding purchase order for 10 Toyota Camry sedans, Modern Automotive Network LLC, $275,450.
Councilmember Larson is recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is my usual rant about hybrid and vehicle fuel safety and consumption. The issue here, I think, is we have 5 that are being purchased with regular petroleum products and 5 are hybrid. And I compliment the staff for coming forward with half of them being hybrid vehicles. I'm sort of curious about this. The reason I pulled 2 and 3 both is that we're going to go look at 3 next, and we have 3 Durango pursuit vehicles. None of those are hybrid, and I'm trying to figure out what the difference is, why we would not have any hybrids in category 3. Just explain to me. I know there are 2 different kinds of vehicles, but I'm not sure they're that different.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Chair, Committee, Members of Council, Nicholas Geis, Director of Fleet Services. To address your concerns, Councilmember Larson, for C2, 5 are hybrid, 5 are ICE. The reason is that the ICE are readily available. We are catching up purchases that were approved last fiscal year, and right now we can get those readily available ICE units or traditional units delivered within the month. The 5 hybrid units, we're going to enter a waiting period to see whether or not and when we can get those fulfilled. So I do not have a delivery window or an ETA on that. The reason we split that was to get the immediate concern of last year's vehicles on the lot as soon as possible while also buying the green initiative with the hybrid vehicles.
Well, I appreciate the effort to transfer us into the hybrid category, so I want to acknowledge that. I'm just curious.
Yes, sir. And we are embracing that, looking for, as we've spoke before, how to increase our EV and alternative fuel vehicles. We have been working with the Sustainability Department to bring forth a plan here with some funds, both grant monies as well as some deferred funds to use shortly to get some approval on some EVs. So we are taking that very seriously to transition over and get us into the EV sector.
Mr. Chairman, could we just go ahead to number 3, and then maybe you could answer that at the same time?
Yeah, if you'll give me one moment, Mr. Larson. Councilmember Scipio, you also asked some questions. Mr. Geis, do you have any questions on C2?
Actually, mine was basically the same as Councilmember Larson. I wanted to understand more about our plan to really get into sustainability. And I'm understanding that we really don't have a policy that we will do so much by a certain time as a council. So I think we need to, perhaps with Public Works, discuss having a policy and a plan for actually meeting our sustainability goals.
Okay.
Yes. Good afternoon, Chair, committee members, and members of the City Council. Just to speak to your point about sustainability goals, the city does, in fact, have sustainability goals passed in November of 2020 that you all supported, which do include both our buildings as well as our fleet. So those goals are 50% clean and renewable where feasible by 2030 and 100% by 2050. And again, that does also apply to our fleet.
And so we have because we have that goal, is there a plan to achieve that by 20? So every time we see these vehicle orders, we know that parts of them are to make sure we achieve that goal.
Yes, ma'am. We're working with the Sustainability Department, Fleet Services, to come up with, to analyze duty cycles and look at dwell cycles so we can begin to come up with a plan to really expedite the EV cycle. We hope to have several vehicles on order. June and July is when the EV windows will open back up. We will be ready to order some then. Yes, ma'am.
And I understand it's a real long lead time for EV. Can you give us a little information about what the lead time looks like?
Unfortunately, I can't at this time. Even on the hybrid vehicles, there's a long list. The allocation has been less than normal. So on the EVs, on the hybrids for the Camrys, the Southeast allocation was only 180 vehicles for all the Southeast. So we are in a long waiting line to see if we can get on those order windows. But the order windows for the 2023 models have closed. The 2024 will open around June or July. And we'll have a better idea of the allocation then. It'll all depend on orders and allocated units.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just so you know, we do have a plan in the goal where we've been making decisions lately based off supply and demand, as you've heard. Mr. McIntosh is recognized.
Nick, in a world where we're still recuperating from the chip shortage, we're kind of in a position where we take what we can get.
Yes, sir.
But is there, when we look at purchase prices, do we take into account long-term total cost of ownership? Like, I know Durangos have not the greatest mileage in the world, so they may end up costing more over the life of the vehicle than, say, a Ford Explorer.
Yes, so we're factoring in maintenance costs over the life cycle to when we purchase vehicles. The Durango is a little bit different story. While we are trying to make sure our CID team members have vehicles to respond to crimes, that's what's important, catching up last year's orders. I think it's important to get them vehicles. They are in dire need, which is why we had to do internal combustion. We can get them.
Got it.
When you look at the Durangos, that's a little bit different they're for our Bear team units. And we fully support that mission. I think it's very important. So when we talk about why we had to do internal combustion engines for those, it's because the positions don't have vehicles. We don't have any readily available vehicles to assign to them. To get them in the street, making their difference, we were fortunate our vendor was able to find an order that had fallen through. We can commit to them, get them here, and then build them out like a police unit, police pursuit vehicle, to give them cages and stuff so they can start in the community as soon as possible. That's why we went with those Durangos and the ICE, so we could start making an impact in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Geis. Councilmember Larson, I know you wanted to get to item C3, but before we do that, what is your recommendation on the motion?
C2, I recommend approval.
So we've got a motion to approve item C2 from Councilmember Larson. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Seconded by Councilmember Mundy. And if we can, before we move to C3, let's vote on item C2. All in favor, please vote yes. Opposers, no. Item C2 is approved unanimously. Item C3, please.
Item C3, resolution awarding purchase order for 3 Dodge Durango pursuit vehicles with Performance Automotive Group Incorporated, $126,709.14.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Larson again.
I guess the question is what is the difference between the Durango Pursuit and why we're using that instead of the Toyota Camrys for this particular goal?
The pursuit vehicles here were originally going to be the Ford police pursuit vehicles because they need to be upfitted with cages and police internals. We went with the police pursuit vehicles with the Durangos because the upfit has already been done. It's easier designed to get the cages and everything done. If we were to pivot and go to a different SUV, the lead time's unknown at this point. We got these units through a fallen through order from another municipality, so we're fortunate to get them, and it's already designed to have the internals upfitted for police use. For the Bear team, they're going to need to have similar upfit as a police vehicle. So we went with what we knew, what was able to be done, and what would be quick to get them on the streets.
So these 3 vehicles are actually going to be deployed to the fire department, though, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
But they're interfaced with the police department? Is that what you're telling me? That
They are going to need to be fitted like a police vehicle. They will be for the fire department Bear team, but they want the internals to be basically like a patrol vehicle.
Is this a question of availability on these as well? There is a
Yes, sir, it is. The windows have closed for the police pursuit vehicles as well. These were first come, first serve.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing more hybrids and electric vehicles in the future.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, though.
Can we get a motion on the floor, Councilmember Larson?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of C2, please vote yes. Opposers, no. That is approved unanimously. Thank you, and that completes our consent agenda.